حجوا ولبوا وطافوا الحرم ونادوا لبيك لبيك الله أكبر. حجوا ولبوا وطافوا الحرم ونادوا لبيك لبيك الله أكبر.
وإذ بوأنا لإبراهيم مكان البيت ألا تشرك بي شيئا وأذن في الناس بالحج يأتوك رجالا يأتوك رجالا وعلى كل ضامر يأتين من كل فج عميق ليشهدوا منافع لهم وأذن في الناس بالحج يأتوك رجالا ليشهدوا منافع لهم ويذكروا اسم الله في أيام معلومات ويذكروا اسم الله في أيام معلومات على ما رزقهم من بهيمة الأنعام على ما فكلوا منها وأطعموا البائس الفقير ثم ليقضوا تفثهم وليوفوا نذورهم وليطوفوا بالبيت العتيق.
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك يا منان يا ديان يا غفور يا ودود يا الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك يا الحمد يا نعمة يا أحد يا شريك لك لبيك.
رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. My dear brothers and sisters, may the peace, mercy and blessings of God be with you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. After Ibrahim and his son Ismail finished building the Kaaba, the Almighty God commanded Ibrahim to proclaim Hajj. We read in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addressing Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, وَأَذِّن فِي النَّاسِ بِالْحَجِّ يَأْتُوكَ رِجَالًا وَعَلَى كُلِّ ضَامِرٍ يَأْتِينَ مِنْ كُلِّ فَجٍّ عَمِيقٍ. Proclaim Hajj among people. They will come to you on foot and on other means of transportation. They will be coming from near and far. And the Almighty God in Al-Quran Al-Kareem tells us as Muslims, وَأَتِمُّ الْحَجَّ وَالْعُمْرَةَ لِلَّهِ. Complete Hajj as well as Umrah for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in answering the command of the Almighty God. So here to start with, you will be now starting to differentiate between two terms. One term is Hajj, pilgrimage, and Umrah, which is, so to speak, the minor pilgrimage. And I will try, insha'Allah, to explain the difference between these two quite related acts of worship. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also in Al-Quran Al-Kareem tells us, Al-Hajju ashhurun ma'lumat. فَمَنْ فَرَضَ فِيهِنَّ الْحَجَّ فَلَا رَفَثَ وَلَا فُسُوقَ وَلَا جِدَالَ فِي الْحَجِّ. Hajj is prescribed on a set number of months, and he or she who makes the intention to perform Hajj, then there are prerequisites the prerequisites being that the person should abstain from abominations, from other acts that are unacceptable while performing this act of worship. Having mentioned that, we understand now that Hajj is an obligation for every Muslim, male and female, who have attained adulthood. Now, among the 5 pillars of Islam, Hajj is the last of those pillars. And here I would like to explain that each of the pillars of Islam is related by time and by space to what is to be performed. For example, we know that in prayers we have to perform 5 daily prayers every day of our life. We know that zakat has to be given to the needy once every year. We know that fasting has to be performed during the lunar month of Ramadan for an entire month, from before dawn until sunset. Coming now to Hajj, it is to be performed once in a lifetime. Why don't we perform Hajj every year? Why don't we perform Hajj whenever we like? Actually, this question was asked of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and he kept quiet. He did not answer that question. And the person who asked him insisted, Ya Rasulallah, afi kulli aam, shall we perform Hajj every year? He did not answer. Finally, when that person asked the question so often, he looked at him and he said to him, if I say yes, it would become obligatory for you to perform it every year. But Hajj is to be performed once in a lifetime, because once we achieve the benefits of this once in a lifetime obligation, act of worship, we will get that benefit for the rest of our lives. Now, remember, I mentioned Hajj and I mentioned Umrah. The way we will deal with this issue is that I will deal with it from the fiqh perspective. Fiqh meaning jurisprudence, the rules of the act of worship. How do we do it? What are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do in preparation for that act of worship? What are we supposed to do during our performance of that act of worship and after we finish doing that act of worship? What's the difference between Hajj and Umrah? We will talk about that from that perspective, and then following that, I would like to take us on a spiritual journey to understand why we do the things we do during Hajj or during Umrah. Now, before we start talking about the fiqhi perspective of Hajj or Umrah, let me clarify that in every act of worship, people make the mistake that they lump everything together, whether it is a pillar of that act of worship, rukun, or whether it is an obligation, wajib, or whether it is a recommendation, mustahab, or whether it is a sunnah or prophetic tradition. They put everything together, and obviously we will be lost when we put all of these things together. So the best thing to start our understanding of Hajj and then Umrah is to look at every aspect of this faridah alone. So we will start by talking about the arkan, or the pillars of Hajj. A pillar is defined as something you have to do, which if you miss, that act of worship becomes null and void. For example, because we perform salat every day, we will understand that in salat, for example, takbirat al-ihram is a rukn. We cannot start salat by right away putting our hands together and start reading the Fatiha without doing takbirat al-ihram, because takbirat al-ihram again is a rukn, is a pillar. For example, reading the Fatiha is a rukn, doing ruku' is a rukn, doing sujood is a rukn, but sitting between the second rak'ah and the third rak'ah is not a pillar. If you miss it because you